Who are you?
Who am I? My name is Marcus Youssef. I'm the Artistic Director of New World Theatre. Here with Jamie because we're doing our show Winners and Losers. And also I'll just say quickly that real thrilled to be having New World's 20th anniversary season at the Cultch this year, which means we're having 3 of our shows at the Cultch this season, which we're thrilled about. So the Cultch is a fundamental part of, it's our home, like and that's why we wanted to do our 20th anniversary here. Its role as a presenter of the kind of work we make, which is hopefully accessible and exciting, but also like edgy and experimental and chasing real ideas and real questions and questions about the world, but also questions about how we can be together in a room at this time and have that be meaningful. The very first shows New World did, Kamir, the company's founder, Persian adaptations of folk tales mostly for Persian folks from North Van were done here at the Cultch in the mid-90s when he was just out of university. I remember being like just having moved to Vancouver, I think I was 22 years old, I just graduated from theater school and seeing a show here and being in the lobby and turning to my wife, my now wife, and going, oh, like if I could just do a show here, that would be everything.
I remember Charlie DeMars went to Marcus Youssef, who's my good old friend and now of course the artistic director of New World Theatre, and started to talk to him about, I'd really like to do a theater show, because he's a stand-up comedian. And to now actually see it being presented at the Cultch, this thing that was just this sort of like crazy little idea.
He remains one of the smartest, funniest people I've known in my entire life. And I've known him for, gosh, almost 20 years.
So Dosto is the Persian word for friend. It's a theatrical bringing to life of Sufi poetry and Sufi thinking. It's going to be an evening where music, dance, and poetry collide. So we're actually celebrating the origins of what that word means, the complexities of the word love, which have all sorts of hard edges as well as beautiful aspects.
Our capitalist Western world is certainly made up of this idea of winning and losing.
One of the things that happens on the show is that it starts as a fun game that 2 guys are playing, that we just as ourselves are playing over the course of a beer, and ha ha ha, what's a winner, what's a loser. But then over the course of the show it becomes more personal. We debate whether our dads are winners or losers, and we debate whether each other are winners or losers, and that people identify with, because I think that's a question. Who am I and where am I and how do I stack up?
It's much more of a exposing exercise to do it back home again. It's going to be difficult.
Because people are much more likely to know who we are. Whereas we're in New York, nobody knows who we are.
We can make things up. Here,
yeah,
our pants are going to be right around our ankles for 90 minutes a night.
It's good for us.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard about this show called the East Van Panto.
Ooh, the Hansel and Gretel Panto.
I'm a huge East Van Panto fan. I've gone the last 2 years and I will definitely go again, and I will sit up in that balcony and I will cheer like crazy.
I'm Dawn Pettin and I'm one of the actors in East Van Panto. I was in it the previous 2 years and this will be our 3rd year coming back to the York Theatre. And because there is that live element, and we on stage have to interact with the audience and keep it live with the audience, there is that great unpredictability of how things can go sideways with laughter. And just seeing kids jump up in their seats and lunge forward in their chairs yelling, "Look behind you!"
You should all come, you should all enjoy the panto. It is the most community-focused, most loving, entertaining, fun space that one can be. I mean, not even around the holiday season. I wish we did summer pantos too.
Welcome everyone!
Why is the culture important? The essence of a culture is to bring people together and to help us remember who we are and help us to express who we are. And if a culture doesn't do that, it fails. Now, there are very few institutions left in our culture that do that for us anymore. More and more we're isolated, more and more our expression is individualistic and disembodied online. So that an organization like the Cultch, which gives space, venue for people to express themselves through dance, through music, through theater, through interaction, actually does. The Vancouver's Cultural Center, or the Cultch, does what the culture is supposed to do, but does so less and less. So it's just an essential organization that keeps us on track as human beings.
So the real arc has been to find work that is fascinating and interesting to what I think is a more and more, an audience that is more and more sophisticated. I really think that the Cultch audience is one of the most sophisticated. That audience brings so much with them when they come that we really have to rise to the challenge. And I think that over the years, the increased number of works from the international repertoire, increasingly difficult work sometimes, but also broad and bold work, I'm more comfortable in taking risks now than I was at the beginning, and I think that the patrons, the audience are more up for it and more interested in it too. I've seen that growth.